Hey world decoders, buckle up because we're diving into the biggest financial scandal shaking the world in 2025. Imagine this. Trillions of dollars flowing through the world's top banks, hidden in plain sight, fueling crime, corruption, and even terrorism. Sounds like a Hollywood thriller, right? But this is real life, and it's happening right now. Today, we're exposing the shocking truth behind the $1 trillion money laundering crisis rocking global banking. Why are major banks failing us? Who's getting away with it? And can we ever trust the system again? Stick around because you won't believe what's coming next. Let's start with a jaw-dropping number. $1 trillion. According to the Financial Action Task Force, or FATF, that's how much dirty money was laundered through major banks in 2025 alone. That's enough to buy entire countries. But here's the kicker. This isn't some underground operation run by shady criminals in dark alleys. This is happening in the world's most prestigious banks, names you know. Names you might even trust with your savings. How are they getting away with it? And what does it mean for you? Let's break it down. Key point 1. The $1 trillion laundering machine. The Financial Action Task Force, the global watchdog for financial crime, dropped a bombshell in 2025. Major banks across the US, Europe, and Asia have been used to launder a staggering $1 trillion. We're talking about money from drug cartels, human trafficking rings, and even terrorist organizations. These funds are funneled through complex scheme shell companies, offshore accounts, and crypto transactions that are nearly impossible to trace. For example, blockchain analytics firm Elliptic exposed a Cambodia-based operation called Huione, described as the largest illicit online marketplace ever, moving billions in dirty money through app-based channels. But here's where it gets wild. Some banks knew about these red flags and still turned a blind eye. Why? Profit. Handling these transactions means big fees, and for some institutions, greed trumped ethics. Coming up, we'll reveal which banks have been caught in the crosshairs, and trust me, the names will shock you. Before we name names, ask yourself this. How safe is your money in a system that lets criminals move trillions with ease? Hold that thought, because we're about to dive into a trust crisis that's shaking the financial world to its core. Key point 2. Trust in finance is crumbling. The 2025 Edelman Trust Barometer dropped another bombshell. Only 40% of people worldwide trust banks. That's a massive drop from just a few years ago. After decades of scandals, think back to the 2008 financial crisis, the Wells Fargo fake accounts debacle, or the 2020 Goldman Sachs 1MDB scandal. People are fed up, and 2025 is no different. The public is losing faith, and for good reason. When banks are caught laundering money for criminals, it's not just a headline, it's a betrayal. Take Standard Chartered, for example. In 2019, they paid $1.1 billion to settle charges for violating sanctions and laundering money for countries like Iran. Yet, in 2025, new reports suggest they're still struggling to clean up their act. And they're not alone. Post-Sunex have called out HSBC for allegedly watering down compliance systems, turning the bank into a global hub for dirty cash. Is this just the tip of the iceberg? Let's find out what regulators are doing, or not doing about it. You'd think regulators would be cracking down hard, right? Well, think again. The system designed to protect us is failing, and we're about to uncover why. Stay tuned, this next part will make your blood boil. Key point 3. Stricter laws. Weak enforcement. Governments worldwide are passing tougher anti-money laundering laws, spurred by FATF's recommendations. In the US, the Bank Secrecy Act and the Patriot Act require banks to report suspicious transactions over $10,000 and monitor customer activity. In Europe, the EU's fourth anti-money laundering directive is pushing for transparency. Sounds good on paper, but here's the dirty secret. Enforcement is lagging way behind. Take the case of Danske Bank. In 2022, they pleaded guilty to defrauding U.S. banks, forfeiting $2 billion for funneling suspicious transactions through the U.S. financial system. Yet, new reports in 2025 show that gaps in oversight persist. Regulators like the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency (OCC) are issuing fines. Bank of America got hit with a cease and desist order in January 2025 for AML violations, but these are often just a slap on the wrist. Why? Because fines, even in the billions, are pocket change for these financial giants. And it gets worse. Some countries, like the UAE, have been removed from money laundering watch lists, despite concerns from groups like Transparency International, who argue it's more about politics than progress. Meanwhile, crypto platforms and NFT marketplaces are becoming new playgrounds for launderers, and regulators are struggling to keep up. What's the cost of this failure? We'll get to that in a moment. Here's the million-dollar question. Can we clean up this mess? Or is the system too broken to fix? The answer might surprise you. But first, let's talk about what's at stake if we don't act. Key point 4. Can greed be stopped? The stakes couldn't be higher. Money laundering doesn't just pad the pockets of criminals, it fuels drug cartels, human trafficking, and terrorism, destabilizing economies and societies. The IMF warns that unchecked financial crime can lead to banking crisis, lost foreign investment, and even political instability. Yet, the core issue remains greed. Banks prioritize profits, and regulators are too slow to act. But there's hope. AI-driven AML solutions are gaining traction, with 90% of financial institutions expected to adopt them by the end of 2025. These systems can spot suspicious patterns in real time, cutting false positives by up to 40%. RegTech, a booming $22 billion industry, is also helping banks comply with regulations more efficiently. Still, technology alone isn't enough. Without global cooperation and tougher enforcement, the $1 trillion problem will keep growing. So, what's the solution? It starts with accountability. Banks need to face real consequences. Think jail time for executives, not just fines. Governments must close loopholes, especially in crypto and offshore havens. And we, the public, need to demand transparency. But here's the scary part. If we don't act, the next scandal could be even bigger. World Decoders. The 2025 banking scandal isn't just a headline, it's a wake-up call. The system is broken, trust is crumbling, and greed is winning. But we're not powerless. Share this video to spread the word. Demand accountability from your bank, and keep decoding the truth with us. What's the next financial bombshell? Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss it. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and let's keep the world decoded.